University head baseball coach. You're listening to Breaking the Norm. Stay right there because we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Tim Grunart here to tell you why you should call my friend Ed Baldwin at Community Mortgage. After 11 years playing with Kansas City as an offensive lineman, I worked hard to protect my quarterbacks, just like Ed works hard to protect values at historic highs and interest rates at historic lows. Now is a great time to take cash out to pay off high interest debt or remodel before we get hit with those rate hikes. If there was such a thing as a Mortgage Hall of Fame, it would be inducted based on 20 years of experience and commitment to saving the great people of Kansas City money on their home loans. Why pay interest on credit cards in the high teens and 20s when you can consolidate with loans in the twos? Call Ed at 913-825-1999. That's 913-825-1999. Or online at edbaldwinhomeloans.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, Kansas Licensed Mortgage Company, NMLS number 224143, APRs in the twos.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for Window Nation. It's freezing outside. Are you feeling the cold air coming into your home? Heater running constantly? If so, you need new windows. Window Nation wants to help keep you warm inside with their 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest offer for a limited time. Get new windows and keep all of your cold, hard cash in your nice, warm pocket for 2 years. And this is even cooler. Window Nation is giving you 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Let Window Nation get you out of the deep freeze. Get your home winterized with energy-efficient Window Nation windows, and you'll be warmly rewarded with lower energy bills. Pay nothing until 2024. Plus, you'll get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Now is the very best time for the very best deal of this brand new year. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com, and tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
At City Rent-A-Truck, their F550 contractor body trucks are among the most versatile vehicles in their fleet and are ready to help you tackle the toughest of jobs. These contractor body trucks feature a ladder rack, side panel storage compartments for tools, 12-foot bed with foldable side rails, headache rack, and heavy-duty tow package. You can check them out online at cityrent-a-truck.com. City Rent-A-Truck. All the truck, all the utility, none of the cost of ownership. City Rent-A-Truck. Work ready on demand.
Apollo Insurance is about options. Quick quiz. Would you rather A, call an 800 number to speak to a call center, B, wade through thousands of search engine results, C, roll the dice on you and your family's health, or D, call your local trusted Apollo agent and find the right coverage for your needs? Apollo was created to get past all the insurance mumbo-jumbo to help their clients find the right policy. And they've partnered with the nation's leading carriers to give customers options. Visit apolloinsurance.com or call 816-897-2114. That's 816-897-2114 or visit apollo-insurance.com. KC Sports and the 3-2 Baseball Club is proud to bring you the Easton Baseball Hype Series NIT May 14th through the 16th. Easton will be giving away $10,000 worth of bats leading up to and throughout the event. Also, the Easton Hit Lab will be on site where you can test out the newest gear on the market. This is also a USSSA double points weekend with 600 points on the line to the winners, which will help you with your seeding at the state and World Series tournaments. Capital Federal Sports Complex in Johnson County 3-2 will be live streamed at USSSAlive.com. To enter or have questions, give KC Sports a call at 816-587-4545. It's been said that the one constant is change, and with each passing year, it seems as though the financial landscape becomes more complex to navigate. With more than 30 years of investment industry experience, Community Financial Services Group can help. Please call 816-322-2760 to schedule a comprehensive review. The number again, 816-322-2760. Community Financial. Teamwork you can bank on.
Securities offered through the ON Equity Sales Company, member FINRA SIPC, One Financial Way, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45242. Phone number 513-794-6794. Investment advisory services offered through ON Investment Management Company. Investments are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and are not guaranteed by the financial institution.
Breaking the Norm is powered by TruckMovers.com. Since 1983, the nation's leading truck manufacturers and dealers have trusted TruckMovers.com to move their vehicles. From one truck to a fleet of thousands, used equipment or finished vehicles straight from the factory, TruckMovers.com has the capacity to get it done safely and efficiently. Their industry-leading technology and web services track your vehicles online so you get real-time reports and metrics, keeping you informed. For a free quote, call 816-861-5444 or visit TruckMovers.com today. Nobody moves more trucks. Nobody moves them better. TruckMovers.com.
The Chiefs will wrap up the regular season Saturday against the Denver Broncos. We'll tell you what to expect beginning Saturday at noon on the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show. And we're back with Kansas City's best postgame show immediately after the game. Then we'll have live coverage of two more playoff-bound teams when the Dallas Cowboys face the Philadelphia Eagles. Your home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 56. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's time to ring in the new year, and why not find out what it means to drive the rings? If you've always wanted an Audi, call Audi of Shawnee Mission and take one home today. Or check out their inventory online at AudiShawneeMission.com. Stop in today to see why Audi Shawnee Mission is rated one of the top dealers in the Central region by Audi of America. Audi of Shawnee Mission's brand new state-of-the-art facility is located directly off I-35 in Merriam, Kansas at the corner of I-35 and 67th Street. Visit Audi-ShawneeMission.com. It's the season of Audi at Audi Shawnee Mission.
Schlotzsky's is thinking of you again in 2022. In case you didn't know it, at Schlotzsky's, you can order online for delivery or for pickup through their curbside service, drive-through, or pickup window inside. You can either download the Schlotzsky's app or go to Schlotzsky's.com. They're ready for you in 2022. And don't forget to stop by on Sundays for a free cookie to go along with your hot sandwich, pizza, kids' meal, or soup and salad. Schlotzsky's. It's a mouthful, but there's still room for a free cookie.
Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC is announcing a worry-free guarantee on new Buick and GMC purchases. That's right. Buy any vehicle, and if you don't love it, they'll take it back, no matter the mileage, and refund you 100% of the purchase price. They've got the area's best selection on new models like the 2022 GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500 Limited, and Buick Encore GX. With this offer, there's never been a better time to buy. Visit robertbrogdon.com or check them out at I-35 in Santa Fe in Olathe. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
If the first thing you think about when you wake up is where are my glasses or contacts, then it's time to consider LASIK. For more than 30 years, Grin Eye Care has been the leader in LASIK and laser vision correction. Grin Eye Care offers affordable LASIK financing options that will fit any kind of budget. Contact Grin Eye Care today to schedule a free LASIK consult and find out if LASIK is right for you. Go to grineyecare.com. That's grineyecare.com.
This is Chad for Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness. Yes, Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness, the place that helped me lose 29 pounds, made my clothes loose, and the place that's given me more energy than I felt since college. Get off the couch, man, and call or stop by for a free consultation. If you qualify, you'll get $100 off your startup fee when you mention 810. Call 913-227-9150. Or visit Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness at 11709 Row in Leewood. Remember, life is better with the feather.
Do you have a frog? You know, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
It's getting colder here in the Heartland, and that means the action in the woods is heating up. So before you head off on your next hunting trip, be sure to check in with your friends at Bushnell. They've got everything you need, from rifle scopes and binoculars to laser rangefinders and trail cameras. Bushnell has you covered. With 75 years of experience in all things outdoors, you'll find reliable gear that helps you increase your chances of success. Visit Bushnell.com for more details. That's Bushnell.com.
Hey, it's Bob with Culligan Water. After doing hundreds of water tests in the Kansas City area, I noticed a pattern. So I've developed water treatment packages that specifically target water issues we face here locally. All of my packages include 2 years of free service and maintenance. Contact me, Bob, at CulliganKansasCity.com/Bob. That's CulliganKansasCity.com/Bob. Let's talk about how to better your water. When you think of better water, think of Bob with Culligan Water.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
This is National Sports Handicapping Champion Lee Sterling of ParamountSports.com. You can catch me each week on Crunch Time and during the Zone on Fridays at 10:45 in the morning. Plus, every Sunday morning during Chiefs Tailgate to get you ready for the NFL action. I'll give you my thoughts and predictions and break down all the upcoming games in college football and the NFL. Also let you know about the weekly specials at ParamountSports.com. I want to wish you and your families a happy and healthy holiday.
'Tis the season to be jolly, and your friends at A1 Mortgage would like to wish you and your family a very safe and happy holiday. Help yourself out with those holiday bills with a fast and easy refi this season. No payments for 2 months, no out-of-pocket closing costs,
Check.
and no
Racing Boys, we still there?
fees. Call A1 Mortgage at 816-822-8888 or apply online at a1mortgage.com. Happy
All right, just
holidays
double
from A1 Mortgage.
A1 Mortgage, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
Mark your calendars now, January 20th through the 23rd at the KCI Expo Center. It's the RV Show presented by Unlimited RV. Millions of dollars of RVs all under one roof, and they all have lifetime warranties. It's January 20th to the 23rd, the RV Show at the KCI Expo Center. Forest River, Keystone, Coachman, Winnebago, and more. January 20th through the 23rd. Only $5 to get in, and the kids are free. It's the RV Show presented by Unlimited RV. RVShowKC.com. That's RVShowKC.com.
Sports Talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades. Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. I'm Scott Traylor, along with my partner, Kirk Elliott. It's Track Talk. And we're going to have a great show for you today. We're going to kind of preview a little bit of the Chili Bowl that's coming up this week. Don't forget, on Monday, Mostly Motorsports with myself will start at 11 o'clock a.m. and we'll go to 12:30 p.m. starting Monday through Friday. We'll be down at the Chili Bowl next week. So Mostly Motorsports, the new show on Racing Boys, will start again on Monday at 11 o'clock. And you can find it wherever you find your favorite podcast, Apple, Spotify, you name it. Wherever you find your podcast, you can find Mostly Motorsports with myself. And we are looking forward to that as Austin O'Neill and myself will be headed down there to the Chili Bowl here before too long. Kirk, how you doing this morning, my friend? You doing good?
I am doing good. It's Chili Bowl week coming up.
It is
How about
Chili
that?
Bowl week.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about Chili Bowl week. It's a lot easier than that shootout week.
Well, yeah.
It's a lot easier than the
shootout is
week.
a marathon. It is a marathon, but great racing last week nonetheless.
Right. Well, Greg Ronk, he picked up the Winged Outlaw 55 Lap A main feature I'm not sure anybody really had anything for Ronk in that race. He's got, obviously, Craig Ronk has got some additional horsepower that maybe some other people didn't have. He was basically unstoppable during the entire week of the Tulsa shootout down there. A lot of speed on that car. And I've done a little investigating trying to figure out exactly why he had so much more power than anybody else. And, the word that I get and what people are telling me is that they figured out a way to put on some 750 injectors on that car, modify them and put them on that car, and that's where he's getting his extra horsepower. So maybe if I get Austin to step up there to the microphone real quick. Austin, have you heard of anybody putting on 750 injectors on a micro before? Have you heard of that before?
I haven't. That's the first time I've heard of anybody doing something like that to
Engler doing that. And,
yeah.
And, he's sponsored by Engler. Got Engler all over his car, right? So, but that kind of explains it to me, Austin. When you looked at when he would come up off of the corner, he just jerked him right up off of the corner, really good. I mean, you could physically see the horsepower difference, couldn't you?
Oh, for sure. You knew, with that being a 2-mil class, you don't know if they got a good engine in there or what, and with the rules kind of being so tight, you got to do something kind of out of the book to find something good. But yeah, they found something that worked really good, and you could definitely tell.
Did you think, and I'll ask the two of you, did you guys think that there was anybody that had a chance? There for a second, I thought maybe Blake Hahn might have a chance at him. Didn't you guys feel like that a little bit? He was just ripping the lip really good, and I thought maybe he might have a chance. What do you guys think?
Well, I think so till the wheel came off.
Yeah.
Got to have 4 wheels on a car to make it to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Kirk. I thought Blake had a good shot at winning one.
Maybe he was the only guy that might have had a chance to run with him, right? Because Ronk, he just kept rolling the bottom, and just making it work, and he was really good down there, right? He made it work. He never really did. I don't remember him getting up and ripping the top at all.
I don't think he left the bottom.
I don't think
maybe
he
for
ever
a couple laps, but
maybe
yeah,
in traffic or something, right, to get around somebody. But it was amazing to see that. Now, unfortunately, we were talking about Blake Hahn.
Well, Jonathan Beeson was the other driver that I thought might have a shot at it there, but he could get around Thomas Kunzman, who also started up front, and he was able to hang on to that second spot. So a call out to Thomas Kunzman, who had a great ride.
Did you think Beeson had a chance? I didn't think he had enough speed.
No, he had, compared to last year.
Yeah,
I think his pace kind of fell off.
Yep.
But he's still, top 5 car all weekend, but I don't think he had a shot at doing anything.
He came from 5th to 3rd.
Well, one of the great things that Jonathan Beeson does, and I think that he's probably as good as anybody, maybe Blake Hahn you might put him in that category when it comes to micros, rolling the bottom. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Beeson can really roll the bottom as well as anybody out there. And I thought maybe, he might be able to get up there, but I just thought that Blake had the momentum ripping the top. Now, how big was that cushion down there last week, guys? That was monster, wasn't it?
It's been a long time. If you thought it was like a midget race, you thought it was a Chili Bowl with the cushion being that big.
Yeah.
It was definitely. I liked it. It'd be nice if they could have that, every night, but.
That makes it very more technical when you got to bounce up against that because, to me, when I sit there and I watch that race, I sit there and I watch a lot of the guys, they kind of cheated in up to it, right?
Yeah.
They don't go in there and just banging in at the top and rip it all the way around there. But Blake was doing it that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just comes from his sprint car experience.
Right.
We get to run a lot of races that have a, tall cushion. And when you have that many laps, on a track like that, it'll pay off.
Yep.
The non-wing outlaw, Jeffrey Newell, came through with the win. He's a driver from Oklahoma, a local guy, right out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, as he outran Emerson Axum with Sean Mahaffey. And Kunzman had another top 5 finish. He finished the top 5 in both the wing and non-wing. So congratulations to Kunzman there with Glenn Gavin Miller
And,
rounding out the top 5.
There was a guy there. I thought Emerson Axum was going to pick up a trailer this weekend. All week long, he looked like he had a ton of speed, right? I mean, he was passing a lot of cars. He looked like he had a car that was capable of winning a driller, but it just didn't work out for him.
We did get a driller.
Oh, what race was
He won
that?
the stock non-wing division. So
the race that I didn't watch.
So Emerson Axum did get a driller. It just wasn't in the outlaw classes.
Well, unfortunately, I got sick when I was down there and had to come home. And so I didn't get to watch every race because I was kind of in and out of taking care of
You're
myself.
a lot better this week. Than
Oh,
you were a
man,
week
I
ago.
feel 100 times better, yeah.
You've recovered.
I think I have.
Yeah.
I think I have.
Congratulations to Jake
Well, now,
Hagopian.
he won the A-class, winged A-class?
Stock non-wing class.
Stock non-wing class.
Emerson Axum. So he did get that driller. Winged A-class winner was Jake Hagopian
How
from
about
out of
that?
Fresno, California. And the other winners, the restricted class, Jet Nunley, who beat another Jet, Jet Barnes, at the end. A couple of young guys there. And in the junior sprints, Lucas Molden won his second straight Golden Driller in the, he's from out of Rancho Marita, California.
Yeah.
So good going there for Lucas Molden. So congratulations to all of those winners from the Lucas Oil Tulsa Shootout.
What do you guys think of the overall week at the Tulsa Shootout? Kirk, we'll start with you. What did
A lot
you
of
think about
cars,
it?
man.
Yeah.
A lot of cars. A lot of entries.
You didn't watch every hour of every
I didn't
hour,
watch
did you?
every hour. I watched everything on Saturday, and as I told you a week ago, I averaged about an hour a day leading up to that.
Yeah.
I was doing some other things, but it's a little different for me, as you know. In years past, I'd watch every race.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
we were doing the broadcast.
Right. Yeah. Well,
but
I thought-
watched everything on Saturday.
Yeah. What's your overall take, Austin, on the Tulsa Shootout? What did you think about it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah?
I, unlike Kirk, I didn't miss a minute. I watched every race from Tuesday to Saturday. It was a lot of cars.
Well, you watched more than me, Austin.
Yeah.
I didn't watch every race.
Yeah,
this
it was definitely a grind. It was I thought it was a good show for the car count they had. They probably could have changed a couple of things, but for overall it was a pretty good program.
Yeah, but you know that the track, they ran kind of a little bit late on the final night, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they get over about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, about 1 o'clock.
But I want to defend the track a little bit on that. I get it, man. I understand nobody wants to sit there and go that late. I totally understand that, right? But me personally, as a fan, I would rather wait and let them tear up the track, rip it up, make it good for a good race, because I don't want to sit there for 12, 13 hours and see a boring race where they're all putting around on the bottom and they can't pass each other. Me personally, I'd rather see Gravel go out there, rip it up, make it better, and make the good racing. I mean, I don't know about
I'm
you.
with you on that.
What do you think, Austin?
That's exactly what I thought. And you watch the races that are like later in the day,
Yeah.
like on I think it was maybe Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
I can't remember what race it was, but it was just the track got so used up and so slow, it was almost taking rubber. If it did not, it might have around the bottom.
It was patchy, maybe.
Yeah. And you're trying to race. Let's say it was a qualifier or something. It probably wasn't, but you're trying to have. That's a big race.
Yep.
That's going to set your field, and you can't give them that track to race on.
Right.
But they did the right thing about for the features Saturday night. Ripping it up and getting it good for them. I just didn't agree with their. I think it was the LCQ that they ran before that. That it was just one lane and nobody passed. So your top 8 was 1 through 8. Nobody had a chance of racing their way in.
But at the same time, Gravel and Matt Ward, they have to be conscious of what's going on, as far as time-wise. I get that. But at the same time, I'm always in favor of working on the track and making it better for a good race versus watching a boring race that rubbers up. What I noticed that they did, and it seemed to work out pretty good for everybody, was they kept misting the top and the bottom. They were doing that quite a bit. And it seemed like that was working for a little bit. But if they did that too long, when they would water the bottom, that bottom would stay good for maybe 5, 6, 7 laps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd blow off a little bit, and then the top would come in. People start ripping it. So I don't know. I thought they did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, it was a great event, and what they have about 400 more entries than they've ever had in this event.
Well, I've never seen
that's incredible.
1,711 entries, wasn't that the number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's.
That's and it keeps growing every year.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna.
Well, yeah,
they're not going to limit.
year.
They're not going to limit entries to this thing. So who knows how big it can get? Because micro racing over the last even 5 years has turned into a monster industry.
You're right.
I remember when the shootout first started way back long time ago. It's not even close. I don't think you could even imagine what it's turned into now back when it first started.
Right. Man, oh man, Kirk, I think I can speak for you and I both. Flo did a good job with the broadcast, right?
They did a great job.
But at the same time, we did that for 16 years, that broadcast. Yeah. And it's pretty stressful when you and I would do that, right? You get pretty stressed out
It's
over it.
quite an undertaking.
Right. People don't realize what it would take.
Well, hats off to the whole crew at Flo for, pulling that off for their first year of doing it. And
I'll say this,
you're not going to hear me do too much complaining.
No, I'm not going to complain too much, but the one thing that I would say is that here I am. I'm a homer. I'm just going to say it, right? I think that Roger Hess did a better job at cutting the race.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Right.
He was supposed to help out this year, was he
was
not?
supposed to help out, but he opted out of doing the race. And, I'm just a little partial to Roger. What I'd like to see is a little more turn 3 camera, a little more turn 1 camera, once in a while mixed in there. They leaned on the top cameras just a little bit more than I like. But overall, though, I thought the broadcast was good. The talent is exceptional. And we really are blessed to see the kind of people that work in the booth. You look at Caleb Hart. Let me just tell you about Caleb Hart. I'll say this, and Caleb, I hope you're not listening, but some people have told me that, oh man, his voice, it just, well, listen, I don't care what his voice sounds like. Caleb Hart is as studious and a professional to the nth degree. That guy is so good. Who else would you want to lead that broadcast? He has all the experience of putting cars together. He worked at Triple X Chassis. Now he works at Joe's. He listen, that guy knows a lot. And then you put Clinton Boyles in there, Chris Wilner in there with them, the three of them together. And
it was great.
I thought it was fabulous.
And the pit reporters all did a great job.
They absolutely did.
And, I thought it was great coverage. And, Flo Racing, they know how to do this. They do a lot of big events.
Oh, man.
And this is, when we did it, we come in there, that was our big deal for the whole year. Yeah. Flo Racing, they do a lot of big events like this. So they're pros, and I expect big coverage this weekend from the Chili Bowl. All go great this week.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be good. So they've moved the Vyrock Race of Champions to Monday. I think that's for
that kind of accommodate Kyle
Larson,
some of the other
and some
drivers.
Of the NASCAR drivers.
They've got a test at Daytona with the new next gen car at Daytona
on Tuesday
and Wednesday. I think so.
Yeah.
You know what? It should, but the Race of Champions I think ought to be on the opening day. In my opinion, years past they've always had it on Tuesday. Then they added Monday a couple of years ago, but they kept the Vyrock Race of Champions on a Tuesday. But to me, I think it belongs on the opening day of the Chili Bowl.
Am I wrong? Wasn't the first year on a Monday?
They've always
always had it on Tuesday.
They've always had it on Tuesday because for years Tuesday was the opening day of the Chili Bowl.
Right. Oh, that's true.
Because Monday was up until a couple of years ago.
That was practice
the Chili Bowl didn't start on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, but they kept it on Tuesday. But I think it belongs on the opening day, so I'm happy to see it.
Austin, you didn't get any opportunities, huh? Anybody knock on your door or call you up and
For a midget ride?
Yeah.
No.
You don't want one?
Oh, I want one. I want to run the Chili Bowl one year.
We're going to get you in that one of these years.
I'm not in the right, I wouldn't call it, not class. I mean, I'm in open wheel racing, but I'm not in the right
You're
area.
a wing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's really knocking the door down for a regional wing guy to come run the Chili Bowl car.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to run a midget, though, the Chili Bowl's a good place to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, throw yourself to the wolves if you're going to do it.
I mean, why not?
I mean, go all in if you're going to do it.
You never.
Right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a really good show lined up for you today, folks. Kevin Swindell is going to join us here in just a little bit. You think Kevin Swindell knows how to win the Chili Bowl?
I think so. 4 in a row.
Right.
The only driver to have ever won 4 in a row, and he is the all-time, second to his dad in all-time wins at the Chili Bowl. His dad, Sammy, has won 5.
Right.
Kevin has won 4, but nobody has won 4 in a row aside from Kevin Swindell.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Swindell, I was reading a press release the other day, and they mentioned a lot of teams in there, but they didn't mention Kevin Swindell. I was a little shocked by that, to be honest.
He's got a car down there this week?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how many cars he's going to have down there, to be honest with you.
Well, when the Swindells go to the Chili Bowl, they expect to run up front.
They're bringing 2 cars.
Just 2.
Yeah.
That's what they normally do,
yeah,
right?
Sammy and Seavey.
Yeah, Logan Seavey. Well, what do you? Let me ask you this. Unfortunately, we know that Kevin got hurt up at Knoxville. I was there that night, but do you think he'd still be clicking off some wins at the Chili Bowl if he was still driving down there? What do you guys think? You think he'd have 5 by
so.
now?
Yeah,
I think he would.
Because he was just getting into like his
prime.
His prime, pretty much.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think he would have 5, maybe 6 by now. Me personally. Another guy that we're going to have.
He's a great analyst, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of great analysts, what a lead in there, Kirk. That was perfect. You set it right up, and I'm going to knock it out of the park. Clinton Boyles.
Yep.
Let me tell you something about Clinton Boyles. We took a chance on him a few years ago to be a racing analyst, and that guy is unbelievable. I'm telling you, he knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and when you listen to him, and you sponge up everything that he's spilling, right? I mean, the guy knows so much about so many different drivers and their teams and where their backgrounds and whatnot. I thought Clint Boyles was just about as good as you can get when it comes to being a racing analyst down there.
Fabulous.
He's excellent. He's a crew chief now. And I tell Clinton this all the time, right? Clinton, don't give up on your racing career because he's a hell of a race car driver.
Yep.
And I don't want him to give up on that racing career because I think he's got a future as a driver.
He didn't spend as much time behind the wheel this past year. He was helping the Hunter, his cousin. Is it his cousin, Hunter Schoenberg?
Brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
So, but Clinton, please do not give up on driving a race car, right? I know you want to be a crew chief, but I'm going to tell you where he's going to end up. He's going to be an analyst on TV. The guy is that good.
He is terrific.
He is that good in Flow, Mav TV, Dirt Vision. If any one of those 3 want to get a hold of Clinton Boyles and hire him, that would be one of the best hires they could ever make because the guy has a wealth of knowledge. Not only as a driver, he's driven non-wing cars. He's won WAR. He's won at Gas City with the wing car. I mean, the guy is good, right?
And a great communicator.
Very good communicator. Yeah. So, and then also we're going to have Clinton Boyles on with us, and then we'll have Lee Spencer on at 9:30 in the second hour. So there you have it. That's our show for today. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more of Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. More Track Talk right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB when we continue.
Track Talk. As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
It's time to ring in the new year, and why not find out what it means to drive the rings? If you've always wanted an Audi, call Audi of Shawnee Mission and take one home today. Or check out their inventory online at AudiShawneeMission.com. Stop in today to see why Audi Shawnee Mission is rated one of the top dealers in the Central region by Audi of America. Audi of Shawnee Mission's brand new state-of-the-art facility is located directly off I-35 in Merriam, Kansas at the corner of I-35 and 67th Street. Visit Audi-ShawneeMission.com. It's the season of Audi at Audi Shawnee Mission.
Joe's Kansas City Barbecue has made their New Year resolution, and it's to serve more barbecue. That means more competition meats by the pound during playoff football and basketball watch parties. That means more curbside pickups when you order on the Joe's Kansas City app. That means shipping more Joe's Kansas City Barbecue anywhere in the nation to your friends and family. And that means more catering meetings and events at the Joe's 180 room in Olathe. Check out all Joe's can do for you in 2022 at www.joeskc.com.
Here's a terrific way to start the new year right. Get fit, stay fit, and save big. It's all at the J, the Jewish Community Center, with the area's best full-service fitness center, indoor and outdoor pools, and so much more. I love it, my family loves it, and you will too, especially now when you can enjoy 2 months free. And you can win a $500 grocery gift card and more if you come to one of 2 open houses on Saturday, January 15th and Tuesday, January 25th. Visit the jkc.org/open house for more information.
1 minute, boys.
Every day you pull into your garage and you see the same grungy concrete floor, probably with some staining and most likely some cracking. It's ugly. Your garage floor needs an upgrade from E-Tech. They use a process that's 4 times stronger than epoxy and has a 15-year residential warranty. E-Tech has great color combinations as well. I chose KC Sky and mine looks great. Get a free estimate today at etekcustomcoatings.com. Locally owned and operated.
The College Football National Championship, presented by AT&T.
Made for this. 60 minutes of hell was made for this. And that's the way we like it.
Kirby Smart and third-ranked Georgia face #1 Alabama, who's looking to repeat as national champions.
It's not really about what you want. It's about what you're willing to do to get it.
Your home for college football's national championship game. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk. It's all brought to you by our good friends at Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Easy for me to say. Let's talk about the Vyrock International Race Champions. What do you guys think about who is? Let's just kind of go over some of the drivers that are in this race, Kirk. Do we have enough time for you to go through that list of drivers that are in that race?
I do. Let's just put them out there. Right. We'll talk about a few of these guys.
Right.
Blake Hahn is in the Vyrock Race of Champions. He just picked up the Lucas Oil ASCS National Championship here this past year.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have Brad Sweet, the reigning 2-time World of Outlaws champion. Brady Bacon, who just picked up his 4th USAC National Sprint Car champion. Brian Wiedemann is in the run. Buddy Kofoid, one of the young and top upcoming drivers, just won the USAC National Midget Championship. Cannon McIntosh, who won Monday night's preliminary feature last year. We have Chad Boat, a Vyrock 2018 winner. Chase Elliott is in the field, former NASCAR Cup Series champion. Christopher Bell, 3-time Chili Bowl champion. We have Darren Pittman, former World of Outlaw champion, in the field. Justin Grant, a preliminary Friday night winner on occasion, and he's my pick to win this year's Chili Bowl. Kyle Larson, the last 2 Chili Bowl champions, and won the Cup Series championship here this past year. Kyle Larson going for 3 in a row, and he's in the field. Rico Abreu, 2-time Chili Bowl champion. 5-time Chili Bowl champion Sammy Swindell. Spencer Baston, who won the last Belleville Midget Nationals. Tanner Thorson is in the field. Tim McCready, who won back in 2006. We all remember that one.
Right.
And Tyler Courtney, the 2021 All-Star Circuit of Champions champion. So there's your field for the VIROC Race of Champions.
All right, so there's so many people that would just automatically, let's just kind of go through the process here. You know, Kyle Larson has been so good, right? All year, last year, he's done everything. He's won the last 2 Chili Bowls. Christopher Bell picked up 3 before that. Rico a couple before that. Then it was Brian Clausen. Who do you guys feel like right now has the momentum? I think you got to look at Buddy Kofoid is one of the guys that's got to be a serious contender for that win this year. What do you guys think?
No doubt.
I think Buddy would be a good pick to go with. I also think Cannon McIntosh would be good too. He's had a lot of momentum past couple of years. He's won maybe 2 in a row on Monday night. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him running up front.
And, of course, Justin Grant. I talked about him last week. He's a Friday night guy. He's going to I'm going to say he's going to do the same thing that Damian Gardner did back in 2008, win Friday night and then back it up on Saturday night. That's what Justin Grant's going to do this year. That's my pick.
Well, listen, I don't know if you guys listened to the interview that Kyle Larson did on Flow. I think it was with Blake Anderson, the interview that he did. He said that the TV screen kept him in position to where Justin Grant couldn't pass him and make the move to go around him. And he felt like if it wasn't for that TV screen, he thought Justin Grant would have won that race. What do you guys think?
He's right about that. I mean, the TV screen's just like an easy cheat code for you.
Do you look at it when you were down there? Did you look up at it?
All the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you listen to Larson's interview after he won the Knoxville Nationals, their division has their big TV screen. He knew where Donnie was and used it. So, yeah, you want to be leading, and you want to have the track position and also have the right to look at that TV. So, I mean, that was, if it wasn't for those two options for him, I think that Justin Grant could have won it last year.
I'm going to say it. I wish they'd take it down. During the race, I wish they'd just turn it off. I think it'd make the racing better. What do you guys think?
I don't know. How many drivers actually look at that screen?
Listen, if you can look up at that screen and take somebody's line away from them, that's a tool. I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, if that wasn't up there, then you just have to race
like
it
any
out,
other
man.
race.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, this is the first I've ever heard that it's that big of a factor, because we heard, Kyle Larson talk about watching the screen. So I've heard more people talk about that screen after last year's Chili Bowl than ever before. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's something to talk about. Would that be something that they need to consider? Turning it off during the race? Would that change the complexion of the race?
I think what I would do is just put the ticker up there. Let everybody know where they're at, right?
Yeah.
And then when the caution comes out, turn that screen on, show the replay of the wrecks. But I think the racing would be better without the big screen up there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anybody agree or disagree?
I mean, you think of it's like NASCAR. You got a mirror. You can see what's going on behind you.
I know it. And you know what? When I raced with people with mirrors, a lot of them use that mirror a little too much.
Yep.
Or radios.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, man, a spotter, he could just block the heck out of you,
There's a reason why they don't put mirrors in these open-wheel cars.
Well, listen, that would be silly to do something like that. But I just think that it would – I don't know who would agree with me on that. Is there anybody out there that would agree with me that the screen should be turned off?
Well, I'd like to say before last year, I never even thought about it, because I never heard anybody talk about watching the screen up until now. So is it I think you could argue that it changed the race, because Kyle Larson looked up there and saw the line that Justin Grant was running, and that had an impact on the race. I think it's certainly worth discussion. Whether or not they pull it down, if that makes that big of an impact, I don't know, but it's a topic worth talking about, no doubt.
Tommy Hahn, who believe me, I put a lot of stock into what Tommy says because he's like a brother to me. I just love that guy to death. He says, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So I just say it. I just say turn it off during the race, show the replays, and just put the ticker up there and let people know where they're running, in what order they're running, and leave it at that. I don't know.
But have you ever heard of that screen being talked about up until now? I've not.
Oh, no, I've heard people talk about it.
You have?
Sure. Yeah. Kirk, the problem is when you're down there at the Chili Bowl in the shootout, you sit in that box right there in front of those screens.
Yeah.
You don't get out and talk to a lot of people.
Well, I will this year, though.
You will this year?
Yeah. I'm going to be walking the pits. I'm going to be everywhere this year.
Well, if we can get down there, right? That's the whole thing.
Well, that's what we're hoping.
Russ says, stop it.
Our Todd Surprise, who we are missing this morning now, is possibly come down. So we're a little short-handed here at Racing Boys. So,
we're in good hands.
We gotta do some shuffling around here, but
we're in good hands. We got Austin in here.
We have every intent of getting down to Tulsa early in the week, and you will be there at some point. But it's all kind of in flux right now, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. So let's go through the list of drivers that. Who do you think is really? Again, I think it's hard to. I'm so impressed with Buddy Kofoid, right? I mean, the guy is so talented, man. It just seems like he's steady Eddie, always consistent. He wins races. He always runs up towards the front.
He had a little setback this last year when he had that injury. Kind of set him back a little bit. But at the end of the year, he was healed up and back to his old form there. But there was a period of time during last season where he was recovering from these injuries.
Doesn't it always give you kind of an idea who's going to win the Chili Bowl when you watch the Race of Champions race?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, don't you guys look at that and go, all right, let's size up the best of the best, right? These are the best of the best that are running that race. Don't you look at that race sometimes, Austin, and think, you know what? That guy looks like he has more speed than anybody else. It kind of gives you an idea who you're going to see run up front during the week.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you get the best drivers from all forms of racing in that one race.
Right.
And they're all going to be good. And if you can come out, on top of that, you're going to be set up for, a good week. Hopefully you just get through your prelim night, and then you'll be set up for a really good Saturday.
So who would you – hey, were you guys a little surprised that Christopher Bell didn't run any better at the shootout than he did? I mean, second, right? But, gosh, he's run second so many times down there, it seems like.
You just look at it this year, and, last year when he ran down there and ran, he probably had 1,300 inches to race against.
Yep.
You had 1,700 this year.
Yep.
And it's kind of the luck of the draw down there. You have one bad mistake, and
it only takes one bad race.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, but he's never really set the world on fire at the shootout before. Always been bigger at the Chili Bowl. But I expect Christopher Bell to make some noise this week.
Oh, I do too. When I sit here and I look at the list of people that I think have a chance to win the Chili Bowl next week, Buddy Kofoid, Christopher Bell, Justin Grant, Kyle Larson. Can Sammy win another one? You think does he still have it?
As much as I want to say yes to see him win one more,
I'm such a Sammy fan, man.
I don't. He's just kind of getting to that age where he's starting to slow down with his racing, and the opportunity's not going to present itself again. I don't think.
You know what I like about Sammy? His attitude. He doesn't give a crap about anybody out there when he races. As you know, I raced like that. When I raced, I didn't like anybody I raced with. There was a couple guys I'd talk to and interact with, but for the most part, I didn't really want to be too friendly with the people that I raced with. Sammy's kind of softened up a little bit in his older age, though, a little bit. He's not the same Sammy as he was when he was young. So, all right, well, listen, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're talking about Swindell. Swindell Speed Lab is like the merchandise king, right? They sell more merchandise than anybody. We're going to talk to Kevin Swindell, a 4-time winner of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals, next, right here on Track Talk.
Track Talk.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hi, I'm Steve Hedgepath with Quad Power Products. We know that time is money, and we pride ourselves in getting our customers back up and running quickly. At Quad Power Products, we can duplicate your hydraulic hose assemblies while you wait, in most cases getting you back out the door in 15 minutes or less. We have an excellent inventory of hydraulic hoses, quick couplers, and adapters, and we pair it with the best customer service. Come see us today, Quad Power Products on Hickman Mills Drive, just south of the Triangle in South Kansas City.
Deep breaths. Mi's virtual meditation studio has never been busier. Imagine not working. They need a remote assistant to realign their scheduling. Blank calendar. Sorry, back to your breath. Indeed can help them hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. Make calls, schedule virtual interviews, and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Brian Radke here from Westwood One with a preview of Sunday Night Football. Week 18 wraps up the regular season in Sin City with a primetime matchup of AFC West playoff contenders, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Both are 9-7. The winner will get the final spot in the playoffs. Join Ross Tucker and me for all the action from Las Vegas on Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
30. Imagine the organizing possibilities with Lowe's. Where keeping it all together comes with Project Source Clear Storage Totes starting at $238 and iDesign Plus the Spruce Storage Bin starting at $1298. Clean up your closet with the Closet Made Brightwood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Find it all at Lowe's Store and Save event in-store and on Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Valid through 3/18. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. U.S. only. iDesign Plus the Spruce Storage Bin. Pricing excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Plato once remarked, the measure of a man is what he does with power. And someone at Hulu said, hey, did you know that Hulu Plus Live TV's got over 75 live channels? You can watch your favorite live sports, live news, live reality shows, and more. Plus tons of shows and movies on demand, too. It's time to have Hulu Plus Live TV. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at Hulu.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Want to thank everybody that's listening on 810 all around the Midwest. Gosh, Kirk, how many years we done this?
22 years.
22 years we've been doing Track Talk.
You and I have been together. You've been doing it longer than that, though.
I've been doing it 24 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That is unbelievable. All right, well, we're going to welcome a 4-time Chili Bowl Midget Nationals winner. He won it in 2010, 11, 12, and 13. And I'm telling you, folks, I'm thinking that he might be the greatest driver of all time, maybe other than his dad. Kevin Swindell joins us now. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you guys?
We're doing pretty good, man. I said it a little bit earlier in the show that I saw this press release on Twitter, I think it was, and they mentioned all these race teams, right? And they didn't mention your race team. Did that sting a little bit?
Some of that stuff doesn't bother me too much. I think my wife was more upset about it than I was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, listen. Just to me, I mean, you read off all those teams and you think about what you guys got going on, right? And you got to think that your team is going to be right there in the mix of it all. What are your thoughts about last weekend at the shootout? Can I get your thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, we were okay. We just you take a 13-year-old kid to those things, and you never know what you're going to get, and that whole deal is kind of a crapshoot when you do the passing points against like 400 cars, and it's almost like if you don't start in the right spot and get the right heat race with some of those deals, you're just kind of just stuck. So still enjoy it every year, and I think every year I leave and I'm like, man, I got to bring like a ringer back with me to do this next year to make it a little more fun.
Let me ask you, when you're dealing with a young driver and you're trying to mentor those drivers and get them up to, a high quality of driver, how difficult is it when you're dealing with somebody so much younger than you? I mean, you're still a young man, right? But when you have to deal with the psychological part of dealing with a 13-year-old, is that difficult?
Yeah, it can be. I think, today's 13-year-old isn't, quite the same as what it was back then. But, I try to almost, it's like you want to get excited and get hard on them. But then, I think back and I try to figure out what I was when I was 13 and kind of, think about your thought process. And man, it's a long time ago, so it's hard to do. But, yeah, it's tough to break them down sometimes, and I think you have to be really careful with how they react to certain things. And some people they need to be yelled at, and some you can't yell at them at all. So it's just kind of like figuring out that balance of how to handle those kids.
How did your dad handle you when you were 13 years old?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I probably never needed yelled at, I don't think, back then. There was a lot of times where I felt like you got those, just look at you and kind of almost like I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, and that was enough for me to want to fix it. So I was definitely one of those that I don't think if you yelled at me, it didn't mean any good. I just needed to be told do that, and I would just go do it to fix it.
Right. Well, that's from your upbringing, right? I mean, that's how your dad taught you how to do things, right? I think he was your influence, right? I mean, you kind of molded yourself a little bit after him, right? And that's a fair statement.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, the way he grew up versus the way I grew up versus the way, a kid grows up now is
so much
astronomically different. And, him being kind of, he wasn't 20 when he had me too. So he's even older than what most generations of, me was. So, it kind of, I got even more of an old school approach.
Hey, Kevin, just to kind of talk a little bit about kids today, these young kids racing the shootout. How important is it for them to be working on these race cars, understanding the cars, because not all kids do work on the race cars?
That's true. A lot of these kids don't work on their own stuff anymore.
Yeah, I think it's, it's a big deal to be a part of it. And, I think the thing I noticed the most is you just need these kids to love it and want to be a part of it. And it's not so much that they have to or they need to do certain things. It's just, you just want to see them want to be a part of it and really want to do that and kind of, eat, sleep, breathe, race car and not just show up and want to do it because they look cool and things are, it's neat to say I'm a race car driver.
For all the wrong reasons, you mean, right? Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. Listen, let me ask you about that track last week, man. That was about as big a cushion as I saw at the shootout, maybe ever. Which, and we had this topic here a little bit earlier, and I want to ask you this question: do you think that the racing would be better if they turned off the screen during the race and then just showed the replays? Or are you more in favor of leaving the screen up there so you can use it as a tool when you're out there on the racetrack? What your preference there? Do you think the racing would be better with it turned off?
It might be. Me as a driver never wanted it turned off because I abused it, basically every lap of every time I was on the racetrack, and it was a tool for me. But, obviously some of those guys just really aren't capable of using it. It seemed like it was funny. this year working with Pittman, he was talking about he's never looked at the screen at Chili Bowl, like, ever. And you talk to, like, me or Bell or, Larson and stuff, and it's like I've never ran a lap without looking up there pretty much. So everybody's different. It probably would help in certain situations. I don't think the shootout would be a huge help because I don't think a ton of those guys, use it other than the midget guys and stuff that, come in for that week. But it probably wouldn't hurt. Like, I don't think I'd be against it as just a guy sitting around, but I'd kind of try to teach whoever I'm with to, like, you got to use that thing and use it good. And it's always funny to watch some of those races and be like, that guy ain't looking. You can tell he's not looking because he would have moved by now.
Right. Larson said that he thought that Grant might have won that race last year if it wasn't for the monitor up there, that he thought it was a tool to keep him behind him during that race. Do you ever remember a time just taking a guy's line away when you're leading the Chili Bowl by looking at the screen? Is there memories where it comes back? Do you remember doing that?
I don't remember ever a too big a moment. I know there was a moment one year at the shootout where was leading like one of the Bs or something, and I think I moved twice to kind of take something away from somebody. And I'm pretty sure somebody came down there yelling, asking to see where my radio was, and it's just like just using the screen, guys. But no, I mean that year at Laid Rubber, I felt like most of the time I used it to keep tabs on what was going on, and I know the year at Laid Rubber, I actually looked like I was getting into 1 and 2, and you're up at the top, and I was turning my head back around and just looking down behind me, and I remember looking, and seeing Dad like probably 4, 5, 6 car lengths behind me, and then look like 2 laps later, and he was like right next to me, and I was like, oh crap, something changed. I'm just getting down. I don't know what's down there, but something must be better than what it is up here, and that probably saved me that whole race.
Based on what you saw at the shootout and going into this year, we all remember the last year's Chili Bowl. How do you think the racetrack's going to be this year compared to last?
You think we'll have that big gnarly curb like we had down there at the shootout?
Yeah, I think, during the week, and obviously, it's a lot of races and a lot of everything, and, it's tough to keep up with that place, but I feel like Saturday night they did a pretty decent job of, going out there, getting just enough in it to where we had a racetrack after like 5 or 8 laps of those features, and it being pretty racy for those deals. And I was kind of worried about it leading up to that, but then they seemed to do a good job Saturday night with it. So hopefully it'll be good. A lot of those racetracks look like into the prelim night kind of racetracks where the midgets would be good. So hopefully they've got a good balance of knowing what to do with it.
What about you got team of race car, Logan Seaby driving for you this year. Sammy, just when's everybody running this week? What are the nights you're running?
Dad will go Wednesday, and then Logan will be Friday night.
Yeah. So, listen, let me ask you, are you having fun doing what you're doing? I mean, being a car owner and putting drivers in your cars and doing all this cool stuff. You got a lot of great talent that you've been putting behind the wheel. Are you having fun?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy what I'm getting to do, and glad that we kind of got ourselves in the situation to be able to do what we do with Sprint Car, and here, and to the point where now I just try to go hire the best guy I can for a lot of these situations, but definitely not as much fun as being in the car, and
right.
Definitely frustrated, some of the time watching, thinking like, I could do a better job in that situation or whatever it may be, and just wish I could keep doing it. And you look back and it's been 7 or 8 years, and you think how many of those Chili Bowls might have managed to steal by now.
I just said it a little bit earlier ago. I think that you might have had 6 by now, to be honest with you. You were such on a roll right there at that time. I just think that there's a very good chance that you could have won a couple more by now, and I think we'd all like to see that. But anyway, long story short is now you're going to try to win it as a car owner. Let me ask you about the quality of equipment that you ran back in 2010, 11, 12, 13. How much different is it now? And maybe I hate to put a number to it, but is it more expensive now than it was back then when you were winning?
Not really. I mean, the tires have gone up, and then they went way up this year. Like everything, the tires have been a disaster for, dirt racing in general. So that price has gone up, but overall, nothing's really changed. I mean, that's actually the same frame I've ran since, like 2007 or 8 or something like that.
Wow,
so I mean,
kidding.
that car's, 15 years old, 16 years old or something like that now. And, a lot of the pieces haven't really changed. I mean, nothing's gotten too much different. The motors have just gotten, more expensive and better. When I was winning, we were bringing like the cheapest S-Slinger you could buy that was like $18,000 or something to buy brand new if it was like a short track motor, and now you pretty much, you got to show up with a, 40-something thousand SR11 or I think almost a $60,000 Toyota,
right,
to really do what you need to do. I feel like.
Yeah, I got to throw this in here real quick before we get to the top of the hour. I look at the micro racing now, and you see a lot of the sprint car technology. The ladder cars are going over there. The 4-bar cars. There's not many panhard bar cars out there running up towards the front anymore. It seems like that technology from sprint car racing is moving over into the micro racing. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, for sure. I think we went through that era where they kind of evolved that way, but guys were struggling to get them to go kind of the way that the panhard bar cars could go, and now it's kind of just evolving that way, especially with you bring Keith getting involved, and obviously all the California guys tend to be more on the sprint car side of things. And when we did any of this stuff, I didn't want to go down the like a Sawyer type route where the car looks rolled to the right and everything kind of almost drives like a modified.
2 minutes.
And wanted to get them in something that was going to feel like a sprint car and have an attitude like a sprint car, and we work on it like a sprint car because you presume that that's where you're going to move to, and obviously the midget's the same way. So one of that feel, I feel like there's probably still some kind of hybrid between the two that would be better.
Yeah,
and I think nobody's really exploiting that kind of in between area, and we've looked at a lot of stuff, and I've honestly wanted to build one ground up for a while now, just to try to even make one a little bit better, but just haven't got around to it. So, but yeah, all that stuff's really bleeding over into that stuff, and those things are, I mean, they're more expensive almost to buy than a sprint car nowadays.
I know it. I know it. It's crazy the amount of money that they can spend on a micro right now. Quickly, what did you think? We've only got about a minute. Can you tell me what you think about moving the Race of Champions to Monday versus Tuesday?
I think the only thing it really changes is just doesn't let Larson double dip on that night and get extra practice during his prelim night. I feel like that's kind of why they did it years ago, and he was always good because of that little bit extra that he got track time. So it's really the only thing, and now we got to start practice at 7 in the morning to get it in Monday.
Crazy. Yeah,
I can understand why that part you don't like.
Nobody likes that, right? Nobody likes that. All right, Kevin, thanks so much for being on the show, man. We appreciate it. Good luck to you down at the Chili Bowl this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Buddy. There it is, Kevin Swindell, 4-time winner of the Chili Bowl Midget Nationals. I say he has 5 or 6 by now. I just believe that Kevin Swindell would still be winning.
He's another great color commentator on TV, too.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, hey, don't forget, hour number 2 coming up. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and don't forget you can always find the replay wherever you find your favorite podcast. Want to thank everybody for being on the show. Kevin Swindell.
15.
We're going to have Clinton Boyles and Lee Spencer here in just a few minutes. We hope that you'll join us over there on Facebook. For Kirk Elliott, Austin O'Neill, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Good job, boys. Good job.
Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. A winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case,
Y'all have a
don't
good weekend.
win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you.
To shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Sure, especially sportswear in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Alumatech Products is the premier aluminum cabinet company as well as custom aluminum trailer manufacturer. They specialize in custom cabinetry and production units. All the cabinets are built in-house by exceptional craftsmen. Alumatech Products also offer truck caps that are built from the ground up, starting with a framework all the way to a complete build. The folks at Alumatech are driven to produce quality, long-lasting products through innovative design to best suit you. For more information, go to alumatechproducts.com.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum, and our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
We not only look to the future, we design it. Our excellence and professionalism in craftsmanship, quality, and safety is unmatched in the industry. We are proud suppliers to some of the most elite race teams in the world. We build it, you drive it. We are here to help you win.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to Racing Boys, and if you ain't listening to them, you get out of the country because you're a communist. I love the Racing Boys. Like Mater says, they make me happier than a tornado in a trailer park. You know, the funny thing about that is the Larry voice and the Mater voice are exactly the same. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. I want to thank all of our great friends over there at Lucas Oil Products. Forrest Lucas, Brandon Bernstein, just everybody over there, man. They're all so, Dave Wanzer, they're just great people. And they've been a great supporter of ours for, gosh, a dozen years, Kirk. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Lucas has been with us for a dozen years.
Yeah, they've just been outstanding partners.
I don't think they were with us year one when we did the first year of the broadcast, but from that point on, I think they were with us.
I think whenever Lucas Oil came on board to be the title sponsor of the Lucas Oil ASCS series,
what year was that?
When we jumped on board.
10?
Seems that's right.
Yeah, I think it was 2010.
Usually I got a good memory about that sort of stuff, but I don't exactly recall.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people hanging out on the, got Russ, Willie's hanging out, Rick, Larry Waters, Russ, Mark Pierce hanging out with us. So we got a lot of people on the chat room on Facebook, and got a lot of people listening to the show today. Don't forget, you can always find the replay. If you miss part of Track Talk, you can always find the replay wherever you find your favorite podcast, I should say. Not broadcast, podcast.
The other big event that's going on that starts tonight is the Wild West Shootout for late models. Different location this year since Arizona Speedway is no more. It's at Vado Raceway Park, that new high-dollar venue down in New Mexico.
Royal Jones's track. Man.
Royal Jones track. Great facility.
Yeah.
And they had a practice session last night to get the races started tonight, tomorrow night, and then they'll go at it on Wednesday, and then next Friday, Saturday, Sunday to wrap things up, and Flow Racing's got all that coverage as well.
Well, let me tell you something. Royal didn't spare any expense when he put that track together. It is super nice. I can't wait to get down there and watch a race. Maybe I can get to it this winter, or this summer, I should say. You know, Kirk, I might take the old show on the road a little bit this year.
There you go. You can do that.
Maybe.
Get out, see more races. That's what you're used to. You need to be out at the racetrack. I'm planning on being at more races this year myself than I was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to sit in here and watch those broadcasts and make sure everything's going right.
I'll still do that from time to time, but I'm going to see more races this year, I can tell you that.
Well, just so you know, we're basically moving into the podcast business, aren't we, Kirk? That's what's happening here. Kirk, what are you going to do when you retire? No, seriously, what are you going to do?
Become a full-time sports fan. Go to races. Go to watch my nieces and nephews' activities.
How old are they?
They range in age from 15 to 2. Or 1. 15 to 1, actually. 10 of them.
So what kind of sports are they in?
I don't know. But we got the oldest girls that are into softball.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good at it.
Are they?
And then
scholarship good?
Could be. Could be.
Really?
Yeah. So
now let me ask you something, because your family's huge Iowa State fans, right?
Right.
Your whole family?
Yes.
Everybody in your family was Iowa State?
Yeah, we're all Iowa State. Well, we got Northwest Missouri State, the Bearcats.
Right.
We got Dennis and Brad graduated from Northwest Missouri State, so we're Bearcats people too.
Yeah, yeah. So
love Northwest Missouri State.
You think the young kids in your family are going to go to Iowa State?
I don't know.
Have you ever had a discussion with them?
We got one kid that I think he's, he's got a mind of his own.
We got this one kid.
He's got a mind of his own enough he knows we're all Iowa Staters, that he's just contrarian enough.
Rebel?
He likes the Hawkeyes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my
he likes
gosh.
the Hawkeyes.
Well, that'll sting, won't it?
Yeah. I think he's, yeah.
Is he an athlete?
I don't know. We'll see. But he likes the Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's I'm going to go see what they're doing.
Kirk,
but I'm going to go to a lot more races. I can tell you that. If I move back to Iowa, I'm going to be at Knoxville a lot more than I used to be.
Well, that's what I'm going to do a lot of this year, to be honest with you.
My favorite racetrack, Knoxville Raceway.
I'm just thinking about taking the old motorhome up there and leaving it up there.
There you go.
And just go up there and watch the races.
Yeah.
Do Saturday morning, run up there. You're going to hear a lot of the best of on Saturday mornings when we get doing this new show. We'll be playing a lot.
Well, as we said a couple of weeks ago, we're still going to do this Saturday morning show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At least through the Cup weekend in mid-September this year out of Kansas Speedway. The Cup Series is out there, and we're going to do it at least through that weekend.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We want your mostly motorsports podcast to really rise up above everything else, and that debuts on Monday, folks.
That is Monday.
You ready to go?
I guess. You ready, Austin?
It's all
ready
you,
to
man.
Do it?
Clinton's ready, too.
He is? Oh, we got Clinton on.
It's all you, man.
All right. Well, it was all about Clinton Boyles down at the shootout, man. He did a great job on the broadcast. Like I've been telling everybody, his future is bright. He joins us now on the show. How you doing, Clinton?
I'm doing good. How are you guys this morning?
Hey,
well,
great.
We're doing all right, bud, man. Let me just start off by saying fantastic job at the shootout, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's always fun to get down there and get to work with the guys that you help build, right, and build that into what it is. So I appreciate you always letting me come down and being welcoming to me.
What is the hardest part for you as an analyst? What do you think that you could improve the most at doing your job when you're an analyst for one of the broadcasts?
And I think the shootout's so hard because it seems like no matter how much research or homework you want to try and do, there's always just so many cars down there. You don't know them all, and it's so tough to just know a little tidbit about everybody. And then, especially now, me being so involved in the sprint car world, I lose track a little bit of the micro stuff going on.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of that background, knowledge on a lot of those guys that I could maybe help provide or, but as far as, breaking down the races and how that goes, that's, I don't think that changes. That's, how to run a race there is the same. So probably just knowing a little bit more about even the guys that are running, actually racing, and then, keeping up on top of the micro sprint technology, which is hard because it is always changing.
Right. And we talked a little bit about that with Kevin Swindell, that we're seeing a lot of sprint car technology moving to the micro ranks. You're seeing a lot of the Panhard bars go aside. They're putting ladders in them. They're 4-bar cars. Guys are taking the coilovers off the front of them. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I really think that's a good thing. I think that's a good direction to go, because when these kids go run, the outlaw division, especially if they make it that far before getting in the sprint car, they step into the sprint car, and a lot of the characteristics are the same of how the car reacts and how they drive it around the racetrack. Obviously, adding a jive shaft and horsepower and kind of a more centered weight balance is more difficult, but all the concepts are still the same when you're driving the car around the track, as far as the wing speed and the wing laying the car to the left and stuff like that. So I think that just makes the transition really, or just a lot easier for these guys. And we've seen it, in Ryan Timms and Chase Randall. Just the first two come to mind on guys that jump out of the micros and are instantly having success in the sprint cars.
Yeah. When I was watching the broadcast, I had to come home early, right? I really enjoyed the segments where you guys walked down the ramp and made a lap around the track. I really enjoyed that one with Jonathan Beeson that you did.
Yep.
Was that your idea, or was that Flo's idea?
So that was my idea, and it's a ripoff of Derek Kessinger. D-Swab is what most people know.
I know D-Swab, yeah, I know.
Yeah, D-Swab's got a little thing he does called One Lap, One Beer, where it's essentially the exact same thing, right? And I thought it'd be cool the late model guys do so good at getting their drivers out there and developing those personalities and relationships with the fans. And so, I thought we could do something cool down here in Tulsa. It's only, we're down here for 2 weeks, so you can hit some limited guys and try to get some exposure and just be more personable as, with the drivers and the fans, try to make that connection. So that was my idea, and it was totally a ripoff of what D-Swab is doing. And, luckily he was gracious enough to say, go ahead and do it. And I know there was a little bit of Twitter beef, back and forth, but that was fun to, kind of give each other a hard time and talk late model versus sprint car. But yeah, I think those segments turned out really, really good, and looking forward to maybe doing some more this week here at the Chili Bowl.
D-Swab was my cameraman when I was the pit reporter down at the Short Track Nationals. And, man,
no way. That
dude is a hoot, man. You ever hung out with that cat?
Yeah, I've hung out with him like 2 or 3 times now. And, yeah, he is, man. He's a character just like all those other late model people.
Yeah.
But they're all a lot of fun.
Let me ask you, the other night, Ronk, he was just so dominant, in the 55-lap A, man. He never really got up off the bottom. And it looked there like, at one point, it looked like maybe that Blake Kahn might have had a chance at ripping the top and getting up there and maybe giving him a challenge. Do you think that is possible? Do you think there was any chance that anybody was going to be able to get around Ronk?
Man, as good as Craig was, his car was throughout the entire week, I just didn't see, unless he made a mistake inside the cockpit of that car, nobody was going to pass him, I didn't think. The lap traffic would have been the factor there that, who knows what happens in lap traffic. But even then, we did get to lap traffic through the middle part of the race, and he was picking them off as easy as he needed to. So it was, really impressive to see how dominant he was. Not what we want to see as race fans, right? We want to see some good action, but
yeah,
for as good as he was all week, and just, really the best car inside the building in the Outlaw division, he probably deserved to win that driller. And, he went out and got the job done.
I was hurt. I've been told that they put some 750 injectors on those things, and they modified them to get that extra horsepower. Do you know if that's true?
I don't know what, Brad Coleman, Tim Engler, those guys that are kind of involved on that operation, I don't know what they have going on, but, everyone in the pit area was saying that's Brad's best engine, and it is, one of the best in the country. So whatever him and Tim Engler got figured out on it, they're just rocking and rolling.
It seemed like to me when he was down low and he'd get a hold of that moisture, he'd just rocket right up off of the corners. He could just pull away from him.
Yeah, he did. And a lot of the guys behind him were even just kind of doing a little bit more momentum. And then late in the race there, Thomas Koonsman got close to him, and it seemed like he was maybe starting to rubber up a little bit. And, Craig wasn't running as hard or as much in the rubber as some of the guys behind him. And he'd still just find a way to drive away from him down the straightaways. So It was really impressive, what they did as a whole, from the setup to the engine guys and Craig driving it.
Yeah. How about the left front coming off of Blake Hahn's car?
Oh my goodness! And the crazy thing is that's something we saw 2 or 3 times there on Saturday.
We did.
And I went and talked to them about what happened, and they said there's just some miscommunication on getting that thing built and put together, and it just never quite got finished up all the way. So it's such a tough break, for a team that got into full thrash mode there with everything they had going on with Emerson and all the other guys that were getting ready for the A, and to have a shot at it right there, it's just a super bummer to see that happen for Blake. I know how bad he wants to get another micro driller, and especially in that outlaw class. That's
right.
He's so good inside this building and everywhere he goes, really. And he's had a couple really close efforts here these last couple of years, and just hasn't quite been able to get the deal done.
Yeah, what I was told is they mocked up that front end, and they had to change that front out. I don't know who he made contact with, but they had to change that front axle, right? And they put that thing in there, and it wasn't all tightened up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and that was, just something they said back at the shop that just got set in the trailer and just wasn't quite finished up yet. And so when Blake and Tom Hahn went to put that thing in the car after bending an axle in the non-wing race,
they just assumed.
Everyone was, they just assumed, and everyone was thrashing on Emerson's stuff. So, there was no one to double check and say, oh, wow, yeah, maybe we didn't finish that or we need to check it. And it just, it wasn't tightened up. It was just hand tight. So the spindle nut was. So that's what allowed it to just all slide off at once there.
Emerson Axum, he picked up that restricted A main class. Was that non-wing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Non-wing. But
non-wing, yeah.
Yeah, but, to me, all week long, it seemed like every time he was out on the racetrack, he was really fast. I thought he was going to pick up more than one driller this week.
Well, he almost did. That last one was pretty wild finish. He went to flipping after. He almost pulled that off there over Newell there, but that was a pretty wild flip he took there at the end, wasn't it?
He looked exceptionally fast for the week.
Yeah, there was a lot of people talking about the racetrack early in the week, and my example was always, well, Emerson's come out in every single class and drove around the top to pass everybody. He never once, went low and slow like a lot of guys and tried to pick them off on the bottom. He drove around them in every class he was in the heat race and the qualifiers. And so it was there all weekend. If you were willing to get out there and rip it and had to have the car speed that Emerson had, which is maybe hard to do, but the top was there. And he was, one of the few guys that could get up there and do that. And so you really knew he had really fast race cars, going into those features just because of what he was able to do in the heat races and the qualifiers.
Right.
Then you add in the experience that he got this last summer and the sprint car stuff and obviously the midget stuff. And that really helps coming in the building in the micro sprints because it just slows everything down. And so he man, what a show he put on for us. And we as fans got to be thankful for that because that was, some of the best shootout racing we've ever seen.
Yeah, talk about that non-wing finish there for a second.
Right.
I mean, he made that run coming off the fourth turn to Jeffrey Newell there. Just what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, he really just wanted to get the win, right? And so in his mind, if he lifts, then you're absolutely not going to win. It's a long shot anyways.
Right.
But, his only chance was to stay in it. And Jeffrey, I think, left him a lane at least until the flag stand where the line is, and then maybe floated it up after that. And Emerson was just kind of committed to that hole already, especially when there was a lane coming to the line, and they just that contact late there. But I went and talked to Emerson immediately after that race, and he was a little bit teary-eyed, and he goes, "Man, I feel so bad for my guys. I should have lifted." And I said, "Well, if you lift there, you're going to regret forever wondering what if. What if you didn't lift?
Right.
And your guys aren't going to fault you. They're back here working because you work hard for them." And he goes, "Man, that's exactly what Tim Clausen," he said. He said Tim called him and said, "If that's our car at Chili Bowl, don't lift. Just destroy the thing. We'll figure it out later."
Right.
So
that's right.
That's cool that he's got team owners and crew guys behind him that are willing to work so hard for him, and he returns the favor on the racetrack.
It's really easy to get that right rear up on that K-rail, and it just sucks you in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Here at the Chili Bowl, that's something we see, or shootout too, something we see so often, and it seems to eat the micros at the shootout even more. I think just kind of the smaller tire, kind of easier to get up on the K-rail, and then more consequential after that. But, we see cars ride up it all week long, and it seems like they kind of get comfortable doing that throughout the week, and then all of a sudden it starts biting them because they're just pushing a little bit harder. But getting that right rear up that K-rail is almost just a ramp, and some guys are really good at doing it and getting away with it, and other guys it bites them, and when it does, it bites them big.
I used to race out at Lakeside Speedway when it was pavement, and when you get off the back straightaway, before they put that wall down the back straightaway, there was a little concrete there, and you could get off of there, and you could get a little grip. Do guys try to use that K-rail for a little grip, you think, sometimes?
I think they do. I truly do, and we saw it. I almost pointed it out in the micro race, and that was something Emerson was doing, is he'd get his right rear kind of up against it getting into turn 1, and it'd launch him across the racetrack into turn 1 and 2. And I noticed him do it multiple times, and I'm like, man, surely he's not doing that on purpose. That's, it's such a risk to take. But when he did it, he made a lot of speed. And so I never asked him if that was something he was doing on purpose. And if it was, man, that's some precision driving and just such a fine line. But you talk about risking it all just to try to make some speed. That was crazy to see.
Right.
And I truly do think that's probably what he was doing.
Well, was that curb gnarly or what?
Oh, it was bad boy. We hadn't really seen a curb all week long, and then the guys come out, Gravel, Steve Hahn, those guys get the track worked in, and all of a sudden we have this huge, nasty curb that is really challenging these drivers to run on, and we saw it bite some of the best, and, got Beeson around, and Lambert got bit. So it was cool. These guys had to adapt, and these crews had to adapt to running on a monster curb if they were going to run the top after, not really seeing much of that all weekend long. So that proved to be a really good challenge and made for some, again, I think some of the best racing we've seen at the shootout in a few years now.
It seemed like the guys that tried to cheat it in up against that curb were losing a lot of speed because it's so far around. But the guys that could get right in on it as they entered the corner and just ripped it all the way through there seemed like those are the guys that really made it pay off for them.
Yeah, it's almost kind of the slot car effect. If you got to slide up to it, it's tough to carry momentum around it. But if you can be hooked into it or up against it as soon as you get in the corner, it's a little bit more tricky to run that way, but you create so much more straightaway speed on your next straightaway. And, those guys that could do that or figure out how to do it well, they're the guys that definitely made their way to the front and found speed to, compete for the win and be up front.
Hey,
I just want to follow up with a question on that. How technical is that for a driver? I mean, not everybody's comfortable doing that. When it comes to trying to cheat it in, a lot of guys aren't comfortable with that.
It is. Here at the Chili Bowl especially is what I can vouch for, just running it myself. And it is one of the most technical curbs we race on all year long when it gets built up like that. And it's something. I was sitting at home watching some Chili Bowl footage from some years past the other night and talking to my roommate and just talking about how hard that is to run the curb like that. And it's just different, I think, with the straightaways. Normally we're on a little bit bigger tracks that you can make a little rounder, and so you run it in on the curb on throttle. And here at the Chili Bowl and Shootout, when you get to the cushion, you almost have to lift to get your car to rotate and then try to be against that curb all the way around. And if your car's not right, it gets to be really evil and really, really difficult to do. So I think that's a double-edged sword. You got to have your car right, and you got to really know what you're doing, and the experience pays off big time down here because the cushion here at Tulsa is about as technical as they get.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about this Winged A class. Man, what a star-studded field that feature had. I mean, Emerson Axum started 17th. He got up to 7th, but you had Cameron Key, Alex Bright, Tyler Courtney, and Christopher Bell, who all fell behind Jake Hagopian, who had to be the biggest celebrator of any winner the whole night. His first ever driller.
Yeah, and how cool was that to see Jake win? It was his second driller, but the first one he won being the winner of the race. So,
okay, right.
I know how much that meant to Jake and all those guys in the D1 camp. They put in so much effort, and I felt like they truly had probably more fast race cars coming out of their camp this week than any other chassis manufacturer. But you talk about a loaded field. That one from top to bottom all the way through had somebody that you could pick out and say, well, if this guy was starting up front, he could win the race. And then so to see, Emerson make that big run was really cool because passed so many good cars, and I would have loved to see him start up front to see what he could do with the leaders. But you think about trying to pass Christopher Bell and Tyler Courtney and Jake Agopian, just absolute veterans of micro racing and even sprint car racing and on. It's going to be really hard, and they're not going to make many mistakes throughout the race. And I kind of had my eyes on Cameron Key, being that he's family to me, and he made 2 mistakes the entire race, and that's not very many in a 30-lap feature when you're running as hard as you can. That I believe went green to checkered, maybe had 1 yellow, and made 2 mistakes, and that cost him 2 positions. I really think that he ran 5th, and I think he could have ran 3rd and had a shot at Tyler Courtney there at the end and Christopher Bell if he didn't make those 2 mistakes. So when you talk about running 30 laps and 60 corners, only making 2 mistakes and costing 2 positions, that tells you how hard it really is.
Let me ask you about this. We talked about it in hour number 1 a little bit about how late the show went. But me personally, I would rather go a little bit later and make sure that we have a good racetrack, because there's nothing worse in the world, nothing sucks more than watching a bunch of cars just put around the bottom where they can't pass, right? And I think they took the extra time. Granted, you guys are on the air and you're ready to get off the air because you've been on the air since 9 in the morning. I get that, right? It sucks as an on-air personality or somebody that's got to sit in that booth all those hours. But I think for the fan, you owe it to the fan to give the fan a good race and make sure the racetrack is racy. And I think that Gravel and Steve did a good job at that. I know they worked it over after every race, didn't they? I believe they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But don't you think that made for better racing, though?
Oh, no, absolutely. And, even throughout the week, earlier in the week, we saw races run late throughout the night, and I got frustrated a little bit at people complaining about the racetrack and complaining about how long we were there. They had about an impossible job with how many races we ran this week, trying to keep the racetrack in really, really good condition and do it in a timely manner. So I think if you're going to complain, you either get to complain because we're running late or you get to complain because we're going fast and the track's no good. So I love the fact that they took the time to work the racetrack and give us really good races and, a track that these guys can race on in 2 grooves. And what Steve and Gravel did this week was so impressive. The hours they put in are probably close to double what anyone else does.
Right.
And so they sacrifice so much, and thankful for all the bull crap they put up with to make it happen for us. Because if it wasn't for them, I don't know that we could find anybody that's crazy enough to do that job.
Yeah, you notice they were able to manage it during the week a lot by just spraying the top and the bottom in between races. The cars would come out, they'd roll it in just a little bit, get it ready. And it seemed like the bottom would stay there for about 5, 6, 7 laps, and then it kind of blow off a little bit. Then you'd see guys start moving up to the outside. Did you think that process worked out good?
So I think it did for a certain amount of time, and then I think what happens as the track really kind of gets slick around the bottom when we water it down there after so many races, the water just kind of cleans the bottom off almost. You're almost just washing it instead of getting water into some moist dirt. You're almost just washing it off, which seemed to just create more racing around the bottom. It would really just really clean that bottom off, and that's when those guys can make a lot of grip just before, it starts taking rubber. So I would have, I watched every single race in the building, and if I could look back hindsight and I was the guy in charge, I would say even the races that the top wasn't there or, we didn't even need to water it maybe, to still go out and put some moisture around the top side of the racetrack. Just that way that dirt stays really wet and those guys can make grip up there without there being a cushion. And it seems like if they can get it'd run 5 races around the bottom and they start watering the top, by the 3rd time they watered the top without anyone running up there, that's when the moisture would kind of come back in around the top side and be able to make grip up there where it was competitive. So looking back, just kind of paying attention to numbers, I wish they would have just watered the top every single race, almost no matter what. And then maybe every 4 or 5 races, water the bottom to keep it in check. But once the track got really slick and they watered that part of the racetrack, it almost just seemed to clean it off, which is, again, a double-edged sword because they got to put the water on it to keep the rubber off of it, but then it cleans it off, so it almost wants to take rubber faster. So that's a tough position those guys were in, and I'm thankful that it was them doing it and not me.
Right.
Clinton, let's talk about this next week. Your family has a long history at the Chili Bowl. Your grandpa and your dad has done well at this event. Talk about your ride this week. What night you driving?
Yeah, I'm going to get a race on Friday, which is kind of back originally the night I started with before I started running for other teams. So I'm super excited to be back on Friday night, and I'm driving for Scott Byerly out of Bismarck, North Dakota. And it's not a name probably very many people know very well. He's fairly new into the ownership side of this. His daughter, Andy Byerly, ran for Zach Dahm for a couple of years and did some sprint car stuff at Knoxville, I believe. And so he's been around racing and hooked up with me earlier this year at a World of Outlaw race I was running. And we kind of talked and just said, hey, man, if we ever get the opportunity, let's try to do something. So he called me this November and said, what are you doing? I said, I don't really have much. Let's put something together. And luckily he has the support of Greg Wilkie, who used to own those white 11 cars that Jerry Jr. drove, the Wilkie Pack cars.
Yep.
So got really good support from Greg, and I went to Greg's shop up in Milwaukee and put my seat up there and got to hang out with Greg, which was so cool. His shop up there is unbelievable. They restore old race cars. Right now they're doing an old Indy Roadster and some old 1970s midgets. So to get to see that was really cool, and get to work with Greg is going to be a lot of fun down here at Tulsa. I'm really looking forward to that. And then, go ahead.
No, finish up.
I just, with my dad getting to race on Thursday and me getting to help him out, and I spent Christmas week, really, all of Christmas Day and a couple other days helping him get his car ready for down here was a lot of fun. It's cool to return the favor for him after all the years he's helped me out, so now that maybe my knowledge is a little bit past what he has, I can go help him out and set his car up for him and do that. So it's cool to hang out with Dad in the shop and work on the midget. And then my brother-in-law Hunter is also racing. I think he races Tuesday. So it's definitely a whole family deal. Unfortunately, Cameron, he didn't end up getting a ride with his normal midget car owner, having some surgery done here these last couple of weeks. And so, eventually there'll be 4 of us racing here at Chili Bowl, about like the Camfields.
Yeah. Well, listen, bud, let me just say you did a fantastic job as usual on the broadcast. And I've told you this more than one occasion. Don't give up your racing career.
Yep.
I know you want to. There's a lot of opportunities for you in the crew chief department, and you got a lot of great things. You could be a broadcaster if you'd like, but just do me one thing: you have too much talent to give up as a driver, and I don't want to see you just give up on your racing career, because I think that you've got that kind of talent that you can make it as a driver as well. So I know you think you're getting a little long in the tooth right now, right?
No, that means the world to me, and obviously Chili Bowl's done a lot to change people's careers, so maybe we'll see how this week goes. But I definitely don't want to be done racing yet. The crew chief stuff is really cool, and I'm super thankful for the opportunity that Tony Vermeer and my brother-in-law Hunter are giving me right now. But I don't think racing's out of the question, and I'm still trying to put together 15 to 20 races this year to run too. So trying to keep my foot in both doors a little bit, and then just see what happens in the future. We saw a guy like Jason Johnson go do some crew guy stuff for a few years and come back and end up being one of the greats. So I wouldn't say it's out of the question, but just kind of got to see how life plays out.
Are you going to be able to sit in at all? Are you going to be able to sit in at all to analyze the Chili Bowl this week?
Yeah, I should be able to do, kind of early in the week up until probably Thursday, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Me, Logan Seavey, and Kevin Swindell are going to be back and forth in the booth throughout the week. So
cool.
Should be a lot of fun to get to work with those guys and see how the races play out this week.
Clinton, I appreciate you as a friend, and I totally respect you as an analyst. I hope that your driving career continues on and you get a big break and somebody puts you in man, it'd be great to see you in a All-Star or World of Outlaws 410 sprint car someday. I hope that happens for you. But in the meantime, just go out and have fun, bud. All right? Thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for the support throughout all these years. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you guys and work with you guys.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you. Thank you,
we'll
Clinton.
do it again. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
There you have it, Clinton Boyles, one of the very best. I'm telling you, Clinton Boyles can be whatever he wants to be from this point on in his career. He could be a racing analyst. He could be a race car driver. He could be a crew chief. He's wired the right way. It's just a matter of choices on what he wants to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to get more famous as we go.
Oh, for sure.
There's no doubt. That segment went fast.
Right.
That went fast.
No
that
doubt.
tells how good he is.
Speaking of a legend, joining us now on the show is our own Lee Spencer. How you doing, Lee?
Oh, I'm super. Just running between my classes. They're doing a marathon at my Y today, and so it's like 30 minutes here and then 15-minute break, and then you're off to your next class. It's crazy.
So we have you for about 15 minutes. Is that what we have you for?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
About
all right.
10 now, brother.
About 10. I'm sorry, but we had to wrap up there with Clinton.
No, I get it.
Hey, you watched the shootout. What did you think of it last week?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. In fact, I talked to Emerson Axum yesterday. He's going to be my lead-in feature to the Chili Bowl. I'm going to work on that story today. The young man just really impressed me, and even though this is just his second Chili Bowl, he's kind of a veteran at the shootout, right? Mm-hmm. But to make all 4 A-mains and get a win, get a second, checkers or wreckers in that second, man, and then that phenomenal flip. Wasn't his biggest flip, but, he said it was a big one nonetheless.
It's funny. We were talking to Clinton Boyles, and he thought that he was using the K-rail to get a little grip as he got up off of the corner. You've got to have some real car control to be able to do that.
Well, and you saw that with Kyle Busch, right? I mean,
yeah.
he was ripping the top. I mean, that's where, and I'm sure C. Bell, but that was probably that was the best information he could give him. And, that was the other thing that Emerson told me yesterday was, ripping the top. That's where he found out, he thought he was the best too. Mm-hmm. And so I think that really helped him. And he said just running the shootout gives you all kinds of help going into the big events, right? He's on the Thursday night preliminary night, so I haven't broke it down, spent a lot of time studying it yet, but I will. But Thursday's usually a pretty heady night, so I think that it's going to be interesting to see how he fares. He said he'll be happy if he gets out of there and, on the podium. If he finishes first or second, obviously he gets locked into to Saturday's feature, but I don't think he'd have much trouble trying to get through the B either.
Right. What do you think about accommodating the NASCAR drivers and moving the Race of Champions to Monday?
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense because it's almost like when you think about the All-Star race or the Busch Clash, right? It kind of kicks off the big event. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, it gives these guys a bit of seat time on the track to acclimate to it and figure out what it's going to be like. I know Gravel was talking about trying to get some of the rocks out of the racetrack. They thought it was kind of lumpy at the shootout. And so, I think it will change some, but it probably for the better, right? So I think that, you think of it, if you look at like the Busch Clash or the Bud Shootout or, whatever, right. Or the All-Star race leading into what used to be, back in the day when Charlotte had speed weeks too, I think from that standpoint, it just wets your whistle for what's to come. And it also gives your A-listers an opportunity to get a little more seat time around that track.
I think there's 3 drivers that you got to take a hard look at for the Race of Champions. I think Kyle Larson, obviously, is the first guy that you look at, right? And then I think Justin Grant is the second guy. The third guy,
the guy Kirk's picked all along, right?
Right.
Yep, he's my pick.
And then Buddy Kofoid is the third guy. You think I'm pretty accurate on those are the guys you got to beat in that Race of Champions?
how can you let Bell off that list, though, Scott? I mean, really. I mean, see, Bell, he was fired the F up, right? I mean, he,
Yep.
you know, when I asked him, so, you know, you think you can get the driller back from Larson this year? He goes, dude, I want my preliminary night. I mean, he, you know, the fact that he was actually there and racing, and this goes back to kind of, you know, when I was at Turkey Night, right? I mean, you saw the guys that actually ran and practice. Larson didn't, you know, he didn't stick around for Saturday. And so when you you know, I think that gave Seavey a head, you know, it gave him momentum, and it gave Kofoid momentum because they knew the track. You know, Larson came in there blind, and I think the more seat time you can have and just try to figure out what the dirt's doing on a specific weekend, it gives you all kinds of an advantage going into the main.
Don't you think Christopher was a little disappointed in his performance at the shootout?
I think he was, but, you know, there are other people that emerged there, too, you know. I mean, you know, NASCAR uses the Xfinity and Truck Series, and they say, well, names are made here. I think names are made in the shootout, and I think we've seen that year after year, right?
No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that, you know, he and Sunshine finished second and third, you know, I don't think that's anything really to hang their hats on. And just the fact that, you know, Sunshine was outrunning it, I thought, you know, it kind of speaks to his desire to really go out and try to win a trailer as well. I mean, whether or not he's going to be able to do it, he's kind of, you know, waved goodbye to the midget circuit. But, you know, people come out for this race. It's a big event. And when you look at your resume at the end of your racing days, having a golden driller on it is one of the crown jewel events in all of dirt racing.
How big a week are we going to see out of Buddy Kofoid coming off the USAC National Midget Championship? Got over that injury last year that kind of set him back a little bit, but he ended up strong at the end of the year.
I just that kid just never fails to amaze me, and his head is so solidly put on his shoulders, right? I mean, he's like a 60-year-old in an 18-year-old's body. I mean, the kid's he's so mature for his years. You really see that on the racetrack. And, you know, the battle he and Seavey had at Ventura was just amazing to watch. I mean, that was after, you know, Seavey got away and kind of took command of it. It was kind of all over. And I don't think that Buddy had the I don't want to say he didn't have tire management there, but certainly his tires didn't hold up the way that they should have. And so, you know, from that standpoint, I think that Seavey had the upper hand, and Seavey really wanted that race because it was like a home victory for him. But I think Kofoid will just get better with age. I'm looking forward to seeing what Toyota has planned for him if he stays in the pipeline. I know he wants to come stock car racing. I'm not sure what those opportunities are right now, but, you know, hopefully we'll find out in the near future.
Well, you know, Buddy is probably that way because of his upbringing. You know, it's who you're raised by that makes you that way. I always say that about Blake Hahn. He's far more mature than his age, right? And that's because of his upbringing by his mom and dad. I mean, they just taught him how to be a little bit wiser at a young age, and I think that's what's going on with Buddy.
But you also have common sense, right? And, you know, common sense takes you I think that a lot of times, and what I think the only thing that's ever going to hold Buddy back is overthinking things because he is that bright, right? And you think about drivers like a Carl Edwards who overthought things, right? Ryan Newman overthought things. You can hit. I think sometimes some racers are too smart for their own good, and if you can find the balance between your natural instincts and you know your intellect and your talent, you'll go a lot further.
Yeah. I'll ask you, Kirk, and I ask Lee as well. Do either one of you guys think that we'll see a first-time winner? You know, it was so funny when I was listening to the interview that Blake Anderson did on Flow with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson said he kept using the big screen up there to hold off Justin Grant, right? And to me,
but that worked to his disadvantage against Bell. Remember,
he left the door open and let him get to the inside of him that one time. He went in there and he got just a little wide, and Christopher snuck down there and got in there and just rooted him out of the way and kind of went on to win the race. But Do you think, Lee, and I talked to Kevin Swindell a little bit earlier on the show, do you think that they ought to turn that big screen off? Do you think it would make the racing better if they turned the screen off during the race, then turn it on when they want to show a replay, or just use the ticker up there during the race? Do you think that would make racing better?
I don't. I think the driver himself just has to have enough discipline to, know when to use it and when to not. And I think Larson learned a valuable lesson that year. And it's one Justin Grant had to learn, right? And I think going forward, it's just made those two drivers better. And, it's easy to get caught on that. I mean, I think, just as a nation, we're kind of, our eyes just go to screens, right? I mean,
right.
And, it's, I think it just takes a lot of discipline. And once you turn yourself off of that, then it's you just kind of take your game up a level when you realize that you have to go the old-fashioned way, right, by using the seat of your pants and the tools that you're given. In the end, it kind of helps you in the long run. So, but anyway, I'm going to buzz off to class, kids, and thanks for having me on, and look forward to getting my Emerson Axum piece up.
Before I let you go, do we see a first-time winner this time? Yes or no?
I would think so. I think so. Okay. I mean, I think that the field, this is the biggest field ever in Chili Bowl, and there are a lot of talented kids, and I think we see anything can happen, and I would never count out Larson or Bell. You just can't. They're the top guys in the game right now as far as coming back and getting it done. And, Bell going back with Keith really told me he wants to win. He had good time running with Chad Boat, but he wasn't going to win the big prize. And I think with the kind of confidence he has going back to Keith, we're going to have the strongest AMA we've ever had at this race.
All right, Lee, we'll let you go. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
They had Lee Spencer.
And, of course, I do say there will be a first-time winner, Justin Grant. So
you're on the.
I'm on his. On his train this year.
I would love that for Justin Grant. To be honest with you, he is a nice guy. I talked to his dad this week.
How big would the celebration be if he had picked this off? That'd be huge.
That'd be big. Yeah, that'd be really big.
A popular win.
Austin, what do you think? You think Justin Grant? Where do you think he's at when it comes to favorites to win? Justin Grant's got to be in the top 2 or 3, doesn't he?
I would say so. He's had a lot of experience down there. He's had a lot of good years in the recent years.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of speed in the end of this season. So he would be in the top 3 to 5 favorites to win this one this year.
So who's your pick there, Austin?
Oh, I don't know. I don't usually.
Is it too early to pick?
It is. I don't pick until like Saturday morning when I know who's in the field.
That's an easy thing to do.
But
just wait till after everybody runs. Right?
You know what?
I'll make one right now.
You can make one now, and then next Saturday we'll make another pick.
You have a right to change your mind
after we watch a week's worth of racing.
That sounds good to me.
We'll all re-pick again next week.
That's right. We all have a right to change our minds, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So my theory of this pick here, you look at the recent, let's just say, 6 winners. Everybody wins multiple in a year. And
put your camera on. Yeah, I want to see you.
Let's see if you can see me. There it is. Right. So Rico won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Bell won 3 in a row. Swindell won 4 in a row. The only one to break that was Clausen. He won 1. And Larson's won 2 so far.
Yeah.
I could see the trend continuing with Larson winning 3 in a row. That's
Does that concern you a little bit that Larson kind of fumbled around there out at the Turkey Night and all that, or is that because he was still celebrating the Cup championship and didn't have it all together? Does that really matter?
Nah, it's Turkey Night. It's not Chili Bowl.
That's true.
And he won the Turkey Night.
There's nothing like the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
You could say what you want, and listen, we had Brad Sweet on here, and he said one day that he thought it should pay more to win, right? But it's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Everybody wants the driller.
Everybody wants the little man, the little driller.
It's one of the few races in the whole world that we never think about the money at the Chili Bowl. It's never publicized. I'm not even sure what it does pay to win.
I mean, why would you pay more when you got that many cars anyway?
Right. The Indianapolis 500 and this are the two big events that we really don't care about the money. It's all about the trophy.
I always cared about
all
the money.
about the trophy.
How about you,
But the
Austin?
money's nice. The money's really nice.
Yeah.
But like you said, everybody wants a driller.
That's right.
That kind of takes priority. You really don't care how much you get paid when you get the driller standing there in your showroom.
Right. Yeah. Well, for me, who'd you pick? You picked Justin Grant. You picked who?
Larson
for 3 in a row. And I'm going to pick... Oh, man. I'm tossed between Buddy Kofoid and Justin Grant, if you want to know the truth. I get it that Kyle Larson is the man down there right now. I understand that. But for some reason in my mind, after listening to Kyle Larson do that interview with Blake, I think Justin Grant, I'm like you, Kirk, I think Justin Grant could be the guy to beat.
I think
he
he's the
showed
man.
a lot of speed at the end of the year,
Yep.
too. So, I don't know.
We're going to have to wait till he's going to be in the BuyRock All-Star race on Monday, but then he doesn't race again until Friday. So Friday night is Justin Grant's big night.
I don't know. Do we hope that we have a racetrack like we had at the shootout?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I think it's going to be a fantastic track.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Or even what we had last year. I kind of remember last year's race, but watching the highlights I've had playing today, but
had a big curb last year.
It had a big curb and it was
Yeah.
kind of wide, and it looked like it had good racing. So
There was one night that just really didn't meet up to everybody's expectations last year, but outside of that, it was all good.
Yeah. I like it when it's technical because that brings out the best of the best.
anybody can run around there wide open.
Anybody can flat foot it there when it's got a lot of grip and whatnot. But man, when you gotta work that curve, because listen, when you're talking 55 laps, right? You're gonna have to work some traffic, and the guy that can rip the top or get through the middle, even sometimes we see that once in a while as the race goes on. They're down on the bottom, they're throwing a little bit out to the middle. Sometimes those guys can make that work for a few laps. I don't know. I just that's what I want to see. I'd like to see a big old gnarly curb that could reach out and bite somebody if they don't do it right.
Like it did Christopher Bell last year.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that. Anything that puts a premium on the driver talent, because everybody's got great equipment, but what brings out the premium of driver talent is what I want to see as a race fan.
Yeah. I would agree with that. How about you, Austin?
I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Austin, you got something coming up that's kind of big for you, this 24-hour sim race. Tell me about that. What's going on there?
Yeah, so me and two of my buddies, Chris Willard and Justin Johnson, I know them from racing years. So we are big into sim racing. So iRacing is a big platform we run on. We ran on there for multiple years. And starting last year, we started a new race. So iRacing, they have like 12 races a year that highlights like the big events. So the Indy 500, the Coke 600, the Knoxville Nationals, and the 24 hours of Daytona with the IMSA cars.
Yep.
So last year we ran, the 24-hour race. Had a really good year. Ran second. Had a shot at winning. 24 hours is a long race. And
holy cow! How often do you switch out?
So last year we ran 2-hour stints. So it worked out to where our fuel runs were about an hour long. So each driver went out there and made 2 fuel runs and then switched drivers. So 3 of us over 24 hours, I think we had 8 stints. I can tell you we call it the graveyard hours. So like midnight to 5, 6 in the morning was just
tough,
awful. But that's the time where everything happens because throughout the day everybody's awake, we're all ready to go. Then when it gets to the graveyard hours, that's when
everybody's tired, wore down,
and crash. And
so what do? Go take a nap somewhere for catch a couple of wings? How's that work?
That's what you're supposed to do, or what you want to do.
But you want to watch.
You want to watch, and
yeah.
We're all in a basement together, so we're talking to each other. We can spot each other.
So you guys use the same sim machine, right?
No, we don't. So iRacing, they want you to. It's a minimum of 2 to 16 drivers. So they want you to run, equal split. Some guys have 3 people that run on one sim rig. If you just run one sim rig, you will get penalties at the end of the race. But we run our own. So it's kind of cool because you get, it's not as cool as, running one sim rig so you can have, the experience of switching drivers, but it's a long, grueling race.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, John Lee's hanging out with us here on This Morning. John, we're thinking about you, buddy.
Yes, sir, John. Boy, get well soon.
Yeah, bud.
Been following you. Thanks so much, John, for keeping everybody updated. God, we're all thinking about you, praying for you, and
hope you get out of there, man. I had it for a few days, and nothing like what you had. And we just hope that you get well soon, buddy, and get out of that hospital.
It's killing him not to be down at the Tulsa Expo Center,
I feel so bad for John because he wants to be on Tulsa time in the worst way.
Yeah.
Right?
So, we're thinking about you, John, and get well soon.
Hey, John, you know what, though? You're lucky you got such a great daughter. Just saying, buddy.
Oh, man, I'll say.
You got a great daughter, man. That's all I'm saying.
And a great grandson, too.
Yeah. Just keep digging, buddy. Today, what? I know, 21 day today.
21 days in the hospital?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Man, oh, man.
Well, we're, that's it. This has been a tough deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
it's not easy. I got it last Thursday, and I worked through the whole process, and I'm feeling really good today, and hopefully I'll be able to get down there. And
now we're afraid Todd caught the bug. We don't know yet.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope he gets well, and then
am
I next? I don't know.
Kurt,
keep our fingers crossed.
We
got the chili bowl.
Gloom.
It's the chili bowl this week.
We
can't get sick now.
He's always thinking, I hope it doesn't get me.
No, I've got all the shots.
You'll find out, Austin, over the years working with Kirk, that he's got a little. He hates it when I say this. He's a little bit of a pessimist, a little bit.
No, not really.
He'll say I'm a realist.
I'm a realist.
Yeah, that's it.
There it is.
Well, I'm glad you're doing much better.
Yeah,
you seem to have recovered from this thing.
Yeah, I think so.
So you should now. What do you got to get the green light from the test before you can go back in the expo center?
Right.
We'll see how that goes.
We'll just see how it goes. I'd love to be down at the Chili Bowl and do my podcast from down there.
That's what the plan was, is to...
and we've got a backup plan where we're going to send Austin down there with some gear and set up and get people to zoom in. If I have to do it here from the studio, so be it. But, yeah. I'm ready to get down there, though. I'm ready to get back down to the Chili Bowl and watch all the action down there. Looking forward to it.
So the plan is for all of us to be down there together.
Yep.
Launching up your podcast. It starts at 11 o'clock on Monday morning.
11 o'clock Monday morning. It'll be 11 to 12:30. It'll be an hour and a half. And hopefully we'll be doing it live from down there. But there's a possibility I might be sitting here in the studio and have people just zoom into the show.
And I'll have to be up here with you with Todd out. So we'd send Austin down.
How do you know Todd's going to be out for a while?
I don't know. Hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully he's fine. So we'll see.
Maybe Todd just didn't want to come over here.
Oh, I don't know. He sounded a little bit under the weather when I talked to him on the phone this morning.
He?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. What time did he call you? About 5:30? You called me at 5:30.
It was right before I called you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Todd, if you're out there, buddy, get well.
Get well, Todd.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hate it. We've all had the shots and everything, so we're still getting it.
Not all of us, but, it doesn't matter. Listen, I don't even go down that road because that's anybody's choice. They do what they want to do.
It is everybody's choice.
That's right.
Anyway, the plan is for us to eventually all be down at the Expo Center for the Chili Bowl. We just don't know exactly when. We're hoping it's Monday, but... Anyway, we got contingency plans to get your show launched off and get it rolling.
Yeah, we got the all the gear mocked up right over there around the corner right now. So hopefully we'll be able to pull it off and everything will go good.
Your Chiefs play today.
I know.
Right?
Are the Chiefs going to win, Austin? Are you a Chiefs fan? Do you watch football?
No.
I'm from Kansas City, so I'm a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I don't watch it.
You know what?
I race. That's all I do.
Stick and ball. You're a race guy.
Yeah. Hey, you told me your car's just about done, right?
Yeah, we're really close. I'm waiting just a couple bolt-on stuff to go on, and
waiting on some parts.
Yeah, I gotta make a couple bolt orders. Get my body painted, get some wings powder coated, and the primary car is ready to roll out the door.
I see our good friends at Rod End Supply come on board with you this year.
Yeah, it was grateful and a pleasure to bring Bob Douglas on board with us this year. And
great man.
Yeah, I ran his product for many years, and to be able to form a partnership with him this year is really exciting. So picked up a couple new sets of rod ends for both cars, and hopefully we'll have good success with them this year.
Yep. All right. Hey, listen, we want to thank all of our guests that were on the show today, Kevin Swindell, Clinton Boyles, and Lee Spencer. And we want to thank Austin for running the show by himself today. Did a great job doing that. Kirk, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
No, I'm just looking forward to the big week ahead. To me, this is the biggest week in all of racing for me.
It is for me, too.
Even though we're not producing the broadcast this year, that doesn't change. It's still the biggest week in racing.
Well, you know what? And it was always big for us because, well, our company depended on that broadcast for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the event itself is not lessened for me, even though we're not, involved like we were in the past. It's still, I still get juiced up for this week.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed.
No.
That's not changed for me.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the show. We appreciate it. We had a good number today. And again, I want to thank Kevin, Clinton, and Lee for being on the show. Austin for doing the job for by himself today without Todd. Surprise, Todd. We hope you get better, buddy. And we're thinking about you, John Lee, as well. For Austin, for Kirk, I'm Scott saying thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.